I am unwell. So, hi, we're doing this again, talking about warrior cats, books, and all that. And oh my god, I am so sad. Listen, I've been very busy these past few months, like really, really busy. I barely have time to draw for myself. But am I ever too busy for warriors? No. By the way, follow me on Twitter so you know what I've been working on. Maybe I'm overhyping it, maybe I'm too sensitive, but I swear with my whole heart that no book has made me cry, sob, and wail the way the back half of this book did. It destroyed me. I've been grieving for the past couple of days because I am unwell. I'm not having a good time. Granted, I got three major things spoiled for me. Thanks, Twitter. I'm looking at you, you know who you are. Even though I knew what happened, nothing could have prepared me to what I would have felt reading it myself. I'm getting ahead of myself. So, this is my third and final video talking about the 7 Warriors arc, The Broken Code, because we're talking about the last book in this arc, A Light in the Mist. Now, you may realize I skipped the Place of No Stars completely, and that is because back then the entire book got leaked, and I was weak, I was not in a good place, so I read all of these spoilers. I did read the book afterwards, but my reaction was not genuine anymore, and I didn't feel comfortable making a video after that. But as a quick rundown for that book, cats were trying to get Squirrelflight out of the Dark Forest, which is now ruled by Ashfur. Willowshine dies trying to help. Rootspring, Shadowside, and Bristle Frost get into the Dark Forest with the help of the sisters, and inside the Dark Forest, they free Bramblestar and Squirrelflight with the help of Snowtuft. While Bramblestar and Squirrelflight are free now, Shadowside, Bristlefrost, and Rootspring get trapped inside the Dark Forest. So that's the Place of No Stars. We begin A Light in the Mist with Rootspring and Snowtuft being forced to fight each other in order to entertain Ashfur and his army, which is just a bunch of Dark Forest cats and StarClan cats who are held prisoner by Ashfur himself inside the Dark Forest. Ashfur also has the ability to mind control them, just the StarClan cats. I assume this is because he's the only pure StarClan cat right now who is in control. So, yeah. As I've said this before in previous videos, Ashfur terrifies me as a character. Like, if I see him in the street, as a cat, that you could just drop kick him into the sun and it will be fine. But as a character, as if he were a human being, I'm terrified of him. like we begin the book with the prologue with an Ashfur point of view. Like it's the first Ashfur point of view we have ever gotten. So we are seeing everything, from his perspective, and he's convinced he's done nothing wrong, that he's the one that has been wrong, and everyone who is telling him otherwise are bad, and he's the only one in the right. He is the light. And not to overshare on the internet, but this incredibly familiar abusive behavior to me. In my life, I've been across multiple abusers, and most of them acted the way Ashfur did in this book. Like, convincing themselves that, no, I'm in the right. It's your fault that I'm treating you this way. I'm doing nothing wrong, even though it's evident they are doing something wrong. So it terrifies me, actually. I mean this in a good way. This is a compliment, because it makes Ashfur so much more real to me as a villain. Like, yes, Tiger Star was the main villain for a few arcs, but he was just your cartoonish villain that, oh yes, I want power over everything, and yeah, I'm gonna commit murder here and there and everything, but it was nothing like Ashfur. Ashfur is just, he wants to destroy everything because of a woman who doesn't love him back, and he is convinced he's in the right, and he is convinced that the people he's hurting deserve it, and it's just, oh my god, what the At this point, Rootspring and Snowtuft had become very close and don't want to hurt each other. So Ashfur is like, you know what, I'm gonna do it myself. So Snowtuft takes his chance and attacks Ashfur and gives Rootspring a chance to escape. And he does. And Snowtuft gets left behind. While he escapes, he reunites with Bristle Frost and Shadowside, and Stemleaf and Willowshine's spirits join them as they got temporarily free from Ashfur's control. And they go to the barrier Shadowside found back in Veil of Shadows that has all of StarClan trapped. Come to find out, it's a passage between the Dark Forest and StarClan. They hear Leafpool on the other side of the barrier, and she tells them that StarClan is vanishing too. Because the Dark Forest is vanishing because of, Ashfur's influence and all that. Ashfur, being a StarClan cat, being in an extended period of time inside the Dark Forest, plus creating a barrier, which has been implied to be a work of years, all by Ashfur, created a disbalance between StarClan and the Dark Forest, making them both disappear. Stemleaf and Willowshine start getting controlled by Ashfur again, and Bristle Frost tells Stemleaf to fight it, for the sake of Spotfur, his mate, and their future kids. And I found this scene so sweet because even when they're both in this terrifying situation, Stemleaf is at first like, my kids? And then he's just so happy because he's gonna be a dad, and it's so sweet. And this sweetness seems to work because Stemleaf has so much hope that one of the vines from the barrier snaps. This is when everyone realizes, okay, hope is what can tear this barrier down, and if we tear it down, the StarClan cats can come through and help us. So they tell Shadowside to go back to the living world and tell the clans to have hope and send some help while they're at it. The first 7 chapters are stressful, to say the least, because it's just Root, Shadow, and Bristle running and trying to stay alive, but it's just all in different point of views, and it felt like they couldn't catch a break, and because they couldn't, I couldn't, so it was just like, damn, let them rest a little, holy shit. So while Shadowside is going back to the living world, Rootspring and Bristle Frost separate, like go on their separate ways, so Ashfur has a harder time getting to them. But it's also like very hard for Root and Bristle to get away because the Dark Forest is shrinking, so the road map that they are on becomes very, very small. So Rootspring gets captured by Maple Shade, Darktail, and there's another dude, I don't remember who the other dude is, but he gets captured, and they put him in a cage near Ashfur's lair or something. And during this time, there is a voice inside Rootspring's mind, because remember, Rootspring is a witch and he can talk to spirits and everything, and spirits can talk to him. He doesn't recognize his voice, but the voice tells him to repeat his words. So Rootspring taunts Ashfur with the words the spirit inside his mind is telling him, and Ashfur is like terrified by what he's telling him, and he goes to check. Bristle Frost at this time is at the barrier, and she had recruited 4 Dark Forest warriors because they don't want to lose their home, essentially. Like, yeah, we live in cat hell, but it's our cat hell. We deserve to be here. So they join her. She recruits Sparrowfeather, Silverhawk, Red Willow, and Maggottail. So it's Bristle Frost and these 4 demons. So they go to the barrier, and Bristle Frost convinces them to have hope whatever the hope they have is. And Megatail specifically, I love them because Megatail has hope to become leader of the Dark Forest, and that is enough that they start tearing binds from the barrier. And at this point, Needletail is in the other side of the barrier, in StarClan. And they tear the barrier enough that she can come through. At the time she comes through, Ashfur is there with a part of his army, and she's like, okay, let's kill the StarClan cat. And I was terrified because I did thought Needletail was gonna get double killed, and I didn't want that. But no, they get the advantage because the area they were in starts flooding. This is a side effect from the Dark Forest disappearing, and it's not normal water. Like, if you touch this water, it drains your soul. Like, you nearly instantly die if you touch the water. So they are trying to get away. Everyone is trying to get away from the water. They manage to climb on trees, like Bristle Frost, Needletail, and her gang, except for Red Willow. Red Willow drowns in the water and he dies again. So back with Rootspring. I love this scene so much. You have no idea. I was having the time of my life reading this scene because, like, the spirit inside Rootspring, talking to Rootspring, is like, hey, tell Darkstripe to come. And Rootspring is like, okay. And and Rootspring is repeating the words the spirit is telling him, and it's basically super personal stuff of Darkstripe, and Darkstripe is like, there's no way you can know about this. Turns out the spirit inside Rootspring is Cat Jesus himself. It's Firestar. Darkstripe and Maple Shade and the other dude realize that's Firestar inside this kid. And they want to fight him, and Rootspring is like, bitch, I don't know how to fight that good. Like, I am a warrior, but I'm not a senior warrior. They're gonna kill me. And Firestar is like, let me possess your body. Not corpse, Rootspring still alive. Let me possess your body. And Rootspring is like, okay. And I love this, by the way, because it's the same chapter, and it's all in Rootspring's point of view. But the moment Rootspring gives up his body so Firestar can possess him, it shifts into a Firestar point of view. And it's been... when was the last time we had a Firestar point of view? 2009? I think it was 2009 or 2010. The last time we had a Firestar point of view in an arc. So it's in the same chapter. It's so good. And Firestar, oh my god, I've never really cared for Firestar. Like, he's okay. I loved him as Fireheart, but Firestar is like, meh. But oh my god, he was so cocky, and he was like, oh yeah, you recognize me now, right? And I love Firestar in this book. So he starts fighting these three warriors, Maple Shade, Darkstripe, and the other dude. I cannot remember who the other dude is for the life of me. But Darkstripe is unhinged. He wants to kill Firestar. He's like, no, you took everything from me. You took Tiger Star away from me, because we know they were dating anyway. And he wants to kill him. And Firestar realizes Darkstripe is not gonna let up. Firestar kills Darkstripe while he is inside Rootspring's body. So it's very ew. The other dude is like, are you telling the truth? Are you saying Ashfur is not here to help us? And Firestar is like, no, he wants to destroy you. And this is when, word starts to spread about Ashfur lying, obviously. I want to point out, by the way, that when Firestar possesses Rootspring, Firestar says that, this Rootspring's body is too small for me. Like, he is smaller than Firestar. But remember, Rootspring is implied to be as big as a Maine Coon cat. So Rootspring is huge already. You're telling me he's too small for Firestar? How big is Firestar? Anyway, back to the living world. The clans choose a cat from each clan to go down to the dark forest, you know? But like, they don't choose the cats. They ask for volunteers because they realize like we will be asking a lot if we choose you. Because if you die in the dark forest, you lose your chance to be in StarClan. Like if you die in the dark forest right now, your body will die and your spirit will die. Like you will become nothing. The volunteers are Misty Star. Misty Star is like, no, you know what? I cannot sacrifice my warriors. I will go myself. Violet Shine goes representing SkyClan, and I assume because she wants to go with her son. Crowfeather from Witten Clan, Light Leap, Shadowside's sister, and Graystripe from Thunder Clan. People wanted to go at first, but Bramblestar says no. Like, your daughter is already there. We cannot risk losing you too. And then Squirrelflight is like, okay, I'll go. And she really wants to go, and she really says, I want to fuck Ashfur up. But Graystripe is like, you just got out of there. You need to rest. Don't go playing back into his paws. And Graystripe is like, I will go. And Squirrelflight is like, bro, you're like 80. Are you sure this is a good idea? This is not a good idea. And Graystripe is like, that's the reason I want to go. I'm already too old. I have nothing left to lose. It's fine. It's fine if I die there. It's fine if I don't die there. So Squirrelflight tells Graystripe to give Ashfur a message on her behalf. We don't hear this message. Not yet, anyway. The sisters are there at the moon pool because that's the portal between the dark forest and the living world right now. They realize Light Leap can't go through. So Shadowside volunteers instead of her. I was very sad that Light Leap didn't get much book time as I was expecting. I was very interested of seeing her. When she volunteered to go, I was like, oh my god, that's so cool. And I loved how Dovewing and Shadowside were terrified that Light Leap could die. I found it very sad but very real. She was really cool for volunteering though, and even Misty Star says that, and I will kill for Light Leap. I think she's very cool. Back in the Dark Forest, Needletail comes through the barrier with more StarClan cats, and we have Redtail, Silverstream, Feathertail, and Firestar. Then the cats that volunteer to go to Dark Forest get transported into the Dark Forest thanks to the sisters, and they meet with Bristle Frost, Rootspring, Needletail, Silverhawk, Megatail, and Sparrowfeather. They also meet up with the StarClan cats I just mentioned. Then Juniper Claw, Dawnpel's son, who tried to poison all of SkyClan and died saving Shadowside when he was a kid, joins in because he wants to redeem himself. Like, we realize Juniper Claw went to the Dark Forest. He's like, I know I fucked up. I want to do right again. So he joins the patrol. So our squad right now is Rootspring, Shadowside, Bristle Frost, Violet Shine, Needletail, Graystripe, Silverstream, Feathertail, Firestar, Silverhawk, Magnettail, Sparrowfeather, Juniper Claw, Misty Star, and Crowfeather. This is the weirdest squad I have ever seen in my life, but I love it. It's so weird. All this squad goes on their way, they have to avoid a lot of the water because it's flooding really bad in the Dark Forest. And, you cannot touch that water. It's very dangerous. So by the time, because it's shrinking, they track Ashfur quite easily, I guess. And they think Ashfur is alone when they find him. And he's talking to himself. He's like shaking and saying really creepy stuff and arguing to no one. And it's just very... Oh my god, dude, therapy. Like they corner him and Graystripe approaches him and he's like, I have a message from a squirrel flight. And Ashfur is like, oh my god, you have a message from my waifu? And it's like, bruh, what? You're disgusting. Okay, and Graystripe tells him squirrel flight's message. And it's a very long message. I thought it will be shorter, but it's a very long message. But it's basically squirrel flight ripping Ashfur a new one. She's like, you're a piece of shit. I could never love you. And I did. I loved you when you were my friend, but you suck and I could never love you and you need to get that inside your skull and I wish you were dead or something like that. She just destroys him. And because it's such a powerful message and because she's destroying him with that message, Ashfur attacks Graystripe and guts him. Like literally, like Shadowside wants to throw up because of the strong scent of blood and the disgust of the attack. Like I read the scene and I was like, oh, that's very painful. Oh, it really sounds like it hurt a lot. It's like, ooh, no, that's... So at this point, they all go try to separate Ashfur from Graystripe and all that. And they realize Ashfur is not alone. Because Darktail comes out from the shadows with his rogues. And everyone is like, what the fuck? When Darktail came out, I said, what the fuck out loud. Because I don't think anyone was expecting Darktail to be back. Turns out he did believe in StarClan apparently or something, and that made him go to the Dark Forest with a part of his rogues. So we have Darktail, his rogues, Ashfur, the Dark Forest cats who are fighting for Ashfur, and well, the spirits of the cats Ashfur killed that cannot go to StarClan and that are trapped. And that are trapped in the Dark Forest being mind controlled by Ashfur. So our squad gets fucked. It's a bloodbath. Rootspring is like, oh, we're gonna die. We're dead. We're so fucking dead. Needletail and Violet Shine team up to kill Darktail, and it was a very good scene. They destroy him, and it's like, oh, that's so good. Then Ashfur gets into, like, Sora possesses Shadowside. Not really. He just like gets inside his brain and makes him like confront him inside his brain, and he abuses him like verbally and psychologically and taints him. He's like, you should kill Bristle Frost and you're gonna help me. You could help me. You're already weird. You're already a bad person. Why not help me? And Shadowside is like, fuck you. No, I'm not gonna do that. And Ashfur is like, okay, we'll see. Ashfur leaves his mind and go back to the fight, I guess. And Shadowside gets cornered between Ashfur and the Dark Water. And Ashfur wants to push him into the Dark Water to kill him. And Bristle Frost sees this. And she's like, yeah, I don't want Shadowside to die. And she makes her choice. Rootspring realizes what she wants to do. And she just gave him a glance saying, I'm sorry. And she runs to Ashfur and tackles him into the water, and she falls in with him. And they both die. Bristle Frost dies, killing Ashfur by drowning. I had already been spoiled Bristle Frost and Ashfur's death, I guess, thanks Twitter, but reading it fucking killed me. I was crying uncontrollably because it's not only like, oh, she jumped and killed him and all that. It's like it's a chapter from her point of view. So you're seeing her in her last moments. You're seeing what she's thinking of as she's dying, and she's like, I'm she's like at peace. At one point she's like, I'm dying and that's okay. And that's so heartbreaking to me because she's so young. It fucked me up. It's really bad. She also has like visions of what her life would have been if she had lived, and she realizes she would have been a mother of 3 with Rootspring. And I know a lot of people, like, we make jokes about, oh, the forbidden relationships and the half clan kids and whatever, but I have never been more sad about a forbidden relationship not having babies. Like, so they win because Ashfur dies, and the moment Ashfur dies, the spirits he had control over are no longer being controlled. StarClan is, getting back together. The Dark Forest is getting back together again, and like instantly everything starts going back to normal. But Rootspring is grieving horribly, and Shadowside has like this severe survivor's guilt. He's like, I killed her. Like, Ashfur told me to kill Bristle Frost and I didn't want to, but I did it anyway. I should have died instead of her. And it's like, no, baby, no. Shadowside gets like this very horrifying scene where he's just like, I need to stay in the Dark Forest because I hate myself, I'm a horrible person and all that. And again, this is very familiar to me because it's like he has been manipulated so badly that he truly believes this about himself, even though it's not true. So this is like classic victim behavior, and it's really sad. Juniper Claw is there, and he's like, I didn't save you so you can just say these things about yourself. Like, no, you're really cool, and I saved you for a reason when you were a child. Stop talking like that about yourself, and stop talking that way about yourself. You're a really good warrior, a really good medicine cat. You deserve to be happy. Shut up. And Juniper Claw is really cool in this book. And yeah, Juniper Claw and Shadowside like kind of bond. Like, Juniper Claw died saving Shadowside when he was a baby. They allow the gang, like all the squads I mentioned, I'm not gonna repeat it again, they allow them to go to StarClan just for a bit and see, like, even the Dark Forest cats who help them, like Silverhawk, Needletail, Sparrowfeather, and Juniper Claw, they tell them like, hey, yeah, you can come for a little bit and see StarClan if you want. I think you deserve that. And Graystripe reunites with Millie and Briarlight. Then at this point, like, Graystripe collapses, and they realize, oh, he's dying. And I'm like, yeah, no shit, he got gutted like 5 times. He got stabbed, and oh my god, he obviously, I'm very surprised he held on for this long. Like, holy shit. Graystripe is like, hey, it's okay, I'm gonna reunite with my daughters, and I'm gonna be with my wife, and I'm gonna just, talk with my ex or something. I don't know. I'm gonna be with my old friends. It's fine. And they're like, okay. And then I don't know who asks, but someone asks, like, why did you allow Ashfur in StarClan in the first place? And 2 characters instantly come to join the group. Come to realize, well, like, we all blamed Yellowfang for, allowing Ashfur into the StarClan. Turns out Clear Sky and Greywing were responsible for letting Ashfur inside StarClan. So if you don't know who Clear Sky and Greywing are, Clear Sky is Skystar, aka SkyClan's founder. Greywing is his brother. So they were like, oh, it's not our fault, we thought you redeemed. And it's like, yeah, they give a talking to Clear Sky and Greywing because it's like, it's all your fault. The barrier between the StarClan and the Dark Forest is now like completely open, like anyone can go through, and they're like, we cannot have that. So Juniper Claw is like, let me guard it. Like, I'm not fully with the Dark Forest, I'm not fully with StarClan, just let me guard it and everything. So Juniper Claw becomes a guard between the 2 realms. And then they are like, maybe we should make some changes to the warrior code. And they're like, okay, next gathering, tell us about the changes to the warrior code. I don't know, whatever. They go back, dragging Graystripe because Graystripe is still dying. He's not dead yet, he's still dying. They have to tell Ivy Pool. Ivy Pool has been waiting all this time by the moon pool to get Bristle Frost, her daughter, back. And she realizes they come back and Bristle Frost is not there. Like, her body is gone. Because they didn't go physically, they went as, manifestations or something. So they left their bodies by the moon pool and astral projected into the dark forest. But Bristle Frost's body completely disappeared. And Ivy Pool is like terrified, like, what happened to my daughter? And Mrs. Star is the one to tell her, like, she died. I'm so sorry. She died a hero. She killed Ashfur, but she died with him. It's so sad because it's not only the fact, again, that, okay, your kid died. It's the fact her body disappeared too. Like, they can't even bury her. And they won't see her when Ivy Pool dies and goes to StarClan. She won't even see her there. Like, she's completely gone. And I find it more sad that they can even bury her. Like, nothing. You can do nothing with her. And Ivy Pool, her story were the Dark Forest, and the fact that Dark Forest took her daughter away from her. It's so sad. It's so fucked up. Mrs. Star comforts her. She's like, I know this sucks. I'm so sorry. In the meantime, Graystripe dies. And before he dies, he tells Scorf, like, I gave Ashfur your message. And she's like, good. And Graystripe dies. And everyone is crying. So by the next chapter, by the half moon meeting, I think, when the medicine cats go to the moon pool, Shadowside realizes he never had a connection to StarClan. It was just his connection to Ashfur what made him have visions and all that, and he's like very sad. He's like, oh, I'm a fake medicine cat, blah, blah, blah. And Mudwing is like, hey, it's okay, I don't have a connection with StarClan either, but we're here. And Shadowside is like, why are you comforting me? I thought you hated me. And Mudwing is like, no, I'm not, I don't hate you. I was in a bad place and I took it out on you and I shouldn't have, and I'm sorry. And I really like that. I like that conversation that I took it out on you and I shouldn't have. And that was very fucked up on my part. You were already going through a lot and I put more pressure on you. That's really good. That's a very good conversation. So they bond again, Shadowside and Mudwing. And then at the gathering, they rearrange the code. They don't completely change it. They just rearrange, like, the importance of rules so you know what to prioritize. And I mean, they don't change it completely, at least not yet, maybe in the next arc, I don't know. Bramblestar is like, we're gonna honor all the living cats so that went to the Dark Forest. So Crowfeather, Mrs. Star, Violet Shine, Rootspring, Shadowside, Bristle Frost, and Graystripe, we are gonna call them the Lights in the Mist. Like, that's your title for all the sacrifice you made. And I was like, oh, pain. Then, Rootspring is having a hard time. Apathetic. He's cold. He's not having a good time. Ivy Pool and Fernsong approach him. And they're like, hey, can you use your witchy powers to make Bristle Frost appear again? Like, please, we want to know if she's okay. We want to know if she's good or anything. And Rootspring knows, like, she's gone, but I'm gonna try for them because these are her parents. So he tries, and he sees what Bristle Frost saw before she died. That is, like, the life they would have had if Bristle Frost had lived. So they would have been mates. They would have had 3 children. They would have been very happy and all that. So Rootspring opens his eyes. He tells Ivypool and Fernsong, "I'm sorry, she's gone." Fernsong, he's very accepting with it. He's like, "Okay, thanks for trying." Ivypool is broken, but Fernsong is like, he's like, he accepts it. He's like, okay. Fernsong comforts Ivypool, telling her she's never gonna be gone because she will live in us and the stories we tell and all that. Rootspring finds comfort in what Fernsong said. He's like, that's gonna help me heal. So the book ends with Rootspring realizing she's gonna live in me, and that's okay. And that's how the book ends. It's such a depressing note. So, final thoughts on the book. I hate the poetry of Bristle Frost, starting by saving someone from drowning, in this case, Rootpaw, then dying, killing her abuser by drowning. So she starts saving someone from drowning, and she dies drowning herself. And I love that, and I also hate it because it hurts me. I've seen a lot of people being very angry that Bramblestar and Squirrelfly don't take much screen time in this book, and I get that. I also like that because they get to rest, They're like, okay, we get to rest, that's fine. I've also seen people that are very mad about Bristle Frost dying. I'm hurt, but I'm not mad. I think it was a really cool twist. There's people I've seen people that wish Firestar would have been the one to kill Ashfur, and I don't like that because it will be making this whole arc about Firestar again, and Bristle Frost had enough history with Ashfur at this point that we had seen, and it was very real, and she died saving Ashfur's other victim. So I like that change. I don't think it would have been better if Firestar took Ashfur instead. I wouldn't have liked that because he would have been making all the focus on Firestar again. And Firestar wasn't a huge deal in my opinion this book. He appeared, but he didn't take the spotlight, He was just there helping. I like and hate, again because it hurts me, that a victim, Bristle Frost, sacrifices herself to save another victim, Shadowside, by killing their abuser. It would have been ideal to me if both victims survived and the abuser just died, but it's painful. I mean, it's a good end for Bristle Frost, I think. I understand if people hate it, if people really don't like it, that's completely fine. I like that ending for her. But, I mean, if I could make Bristle Frost be alive, or at least be a ghost, or have a burial for her, I would have taken that. But you can't even have that for her. I was a bit very weirded out by the religious narrative. We understand, the Aryans are very into religion and StarClan, and we depend on StarClan only and all that, but it was a very, dare I say, cultish for me. It's nothing new in Warriors that they are very into StarClan, you know what I mean? So that's okay. I was very mad, I am upset, that Holyleaf doesn't make an appearance. I don't think she does. Maybe she did and I don't remember. Holyleaf doesn't appear. At least she doesn't go... I think it would have been very cool if she joined the patrol. Maybe replace Redtail or something. I don't know. Redtail was a very weird choice, in my opinion, for the StarClan cats that came to help. But, I mean, yeah, sure, why not? Redtail. And Redtail gets more screen time. But I hoped Holyleaf was in there because, she killed Ashfur originally, so it would have been very cool to have her there. But so no Holyleaf. We get a lot of Leafpool and Crowfeather. We know that Leafpool is Crowfeather's one true love and all that, and he's like, I missed you and all that, and Feathertail is very jealous, but whatever. We have a lot of Firestar and Graystripe moments. They're just a little bi, in my opinion. They're not very straight as they seem to be. The book ends. I love that the book ends with Shadowside living on and learning to love himself again and healing, and Rootspring living on and remembering Bristle Frost, not with hurt but with like pride, and remembering her sacrifice and how metal she went. Both Shadowside and Rootspring healing. I think it's a really good note to end. And I really like this book. If you hated it, because I've seen like very mixed, like it's a mixed bag of opinions. Like if you hated it, that's completely okay. I understand that. If you disagree with me, like, oh no, the book sucked, that's fine. I get it, but I really liked it. So sorry. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be reading the next arc. One, I wanna focus on my own projects. Two, I'm not very interested in any of the protagonists. Sorry, Flamepaw, sorry, Frostpaw, sorry, Sunbeam. I'm sorry, I'm just not very interested. Also, I want to be the person, those people who haven't read Warriors in a long time and a new name or a new villain comes up and they're like, who the fuck is that? I want to be that person that doesn't know what the fuck is happening in Warriors anymore and just see snippets around social media and they don't know what is happening. I want to be that person. So I'm gonna be that person from now on. I really like this arc. In my opinion, like 5 out of 6 books were really good. In my opinion. Like you can disagree and be like, no, it suck. Like that's fine. But in my opinion, I really had a lot of fun reading this book. And I suffered a lot reading this last book. Oh my god, the way I cried. I feel empty right now. I'm so sad still. I'm grieving. But yeah, if you wanna let me know your opinions, or if you wanna disagree with me in the comments, go ahead. I like having disagreements with people. I wanna talk to people. I think it's very fun to have conversations about these books. And yeah, I'm gonna go back into my lair because again, I've been very busy, so who knows when this video is gonna come out. Let me know your opinions and all that, and I love you. Bye.